Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, all the assembled devotees ki jai. Okay, so welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class today. Thank you so much for joining us. So, do we have invocations ready? Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashra praeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Bhagavatam. And by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. I'm in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Respectful obeisance, spiritual master, deliverer of the fallen soul. His mercy turns dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. So today we are continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1. Do we have it ready? Yes. So this is continuation of Shukdev Goswami answering the questions of Parishad Maharaj. So now the actual conversation begins. Until now, Parikshit Maharaj was asking questions. In Canto 1, Chapter 19, which is the last chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asked many questions. And one of the questions was, please let me know what a man should hear. What should be the subject? Chant, remember, and worship. And what he should not hear. So what are the do's and don'ts? So then he asked this question, and then in response to this question, Sukdev Goswami is answering now. So we'll see what he answers. So we'll be reading from text 5. Ishan Prabhu.
O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries.
The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice the mystery power or the perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of the life.
O King Parikshit, meaning the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulated principles and restrictions, take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord.
Excellent. At the end of the Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all the Vedas. From my father Srila Yasdev.
O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in confidence, yet I was still attached by the
Attracted.
I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses.
That very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you, because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. One who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation.
Chai. So we'll be focusing on verse 6. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsham Ante Narayana Smriti Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsham Ante Narayana Smriti.
Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam
Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Sarva Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsham Ante Narayana Smriti. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam. Do it. Swadharma. Swadharma Parinishthaya. Very good. Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Synonyms altogether. Etavan, all this. Sankhya, complete knowledge of matter and spirit. Yogabhyam, knowledge of mystic power. Swadharma, particular occupational duty. Parinishthaya, by full perception. Jarma, birth. Labha, gain. Para, supreme. Pumsam, of person. Ante, at the end, Narayana, the personality of Godhead, Smriti, remembrance. Translation, we can do it together. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Purport.
Narayana is the transcendental personality of Godhead beyond the material creation. Everything that is created, sustained, and in the end annihilated is within the compass of the Mahatattva, material principle, and is known as the material world. The existence of Narayana, or the personality of Godhead, is not within the jurisdiction of this Mahatattva, and as such the name, form, attributes, etc. of Narayana are beyond the jurisdiction of the material world. By the speculation of empiric philosophy, which discerns matter from spirit, or by cultivation of mystic powers, which ultimately helps the performer to reach any planet of the universe or beyond the universe, or by discharge of religious duties, one can achieve the highest perfection, provided one is able to reach the stage of Narayana Smriti, or constant remembrance of the personality of God. That is possible only by association of a pure devotee who can give a finishing touch to the transcendental activities of jnanis, yogis, or yogis. In terms of prescribed duties defined in the scriptures, there are many historical instances of the achievement of spiritual perfection, such as that of Shanakadi rishis or the 9 celebrated yogendras who attain perfection only after being situated in the devotional service of Lord.
Yes. Oh, yes.
None of the devotees of the Lord either deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to other methods as adopted by the Gyanis or Yogis. Everyone is anxious to achieve the highest perfection of his particular activity and is indicated herein that such perfection is Narayan Smriti, for which everyone must endeavor his best. In other words, life should be molded in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember the personality of God in every step of life.
Yeah. Very nice. So, do we all remember the question that I mentioned in the beginning of the class? What was the question? Test.
What should we hear? What should we not hear? Mahatma Rishi asked this.
Yes. What should we hear? What should we chant? And what should we remember? And what not should we remember? So, the not part was discussed yesterday very beautifully by Padmana and Prabhu. That what are the don'ts? Now we will focus on the do's. And here Shukdev Goswami is describing that very simply and very beautifully, that the end goal is Ante Narayana Smriti. Okay, that is our end goal. That sometimes we feel like most important thing, it should be complicated. If it's not complicated, if it's not very complex, if it's not bewildering our mind, then it's not the truth. But that's not true here. If we see, is it not simple what Sukdev Goswami is saying, that okay, this is the end goal of life, Ante Narayana Smriti. Very, very easy, very simple, right? But it's not very easy as it sounds. Now, it was very interesting when we were reading purport, Srila Prabhupada, what do we understand by Ante Narayana Smriti? If I ask you, what is it meant by Ante Narayana Smriti? What do you understand? What should we think at the end, right? Ante, end. But what Prabhupada is describing here is, yes, right? He is saying that constant remembrance of the personality of Godhead. So, when I first came into contact with Krishna consciousness and I got to know that, okay, this is the end goal, that at the end you have to remember Krishna, right? That is the end goal. It's very simple. I was like, okay, enjoy life, and then at the end you remember Krishna. It's done deal, right? It's simple. And we also have example. Who? Ajamil. You know, it's like, people, they have done in past also, you can do it now also. That all your life you enjoy, you do whatever you want, and at the end you just remember Narayan. Okay, finish. And then, so my perception of this verse or this understanding changed so much. You know, it went from one, and I'll try to elaborate a little bit on every one of them. So then this understanding, what do you think about this understanding? That okay, all the life you enjoy, and at the end you remember the Lord. Is it not reasonable? Best of the both world. You get to enjoy the material world also, and you get to go to the spiritual world also. What do you think? Yes, no, something? Yes? Yes. Okay, very nice. This is completely wrong. So, Prabhupada says that you cannot put two legs in two different boats. It's either material life or it's spiritual life. And Ajamil's case was an exception. And in scriptures there are some pastimes which are specifically meant to teach us something. And the pastime of Ajamil was not to teach us that okay, you enjoy the material life and still you can get liberation. No, that was not the essence or lesson behind that pastime. The lesson behind the pastime was that how merciful the Lord is, how merciful the name of the Lord is, how merciful Harinam is. That even if you chant it in Namabhas, still you get benefit, still you will not degrade to hell. You will get a second chance. Not a lot of people, including myself, I didn't know that there's more to the story. It was not that Ajamil got liberation right after he chanted Narayan and the Vishnudutas came and they saved him from Yamdutas. No. After that he left his house, he left everything, and he went to Haridwar and he did sadhana. He did, devotional service. And then he was having that constant remembrance of the Lord, and then after leaving his body, Vishnudutas came and took him to Vaikuntha. So that is the full story. So the first conception is completely wrong. That okay, best of the both world, enjoy, and then at the end you will have Narayana Smriti. After that I went to the other extreme. That was like, okay, death is very difficult because I saw people dying, and I was like, to remember the Lord in this particular moment, it's impossible. Forget about it. I will not, at least I will not be able to do it. Okay. And I used to ask these questions to many, many, many devotees, like, but Prabhu, it's very difficult at the time of death. I've also heard that, I don't know how many scorpions, thousands of scorpions bite you at the same time. It's that kind of excruciating pain, and your throat is filled with mucus. And then you're not able to breathe. You're surrounded by your relatives. They are crying. So, and then you are in constant fear of losing everything that you have. Relationships, material possessions, everything. And at the end, in this kind of situation, how is it possible to remember Narayan or Krishna? So then I was in fear. I was like, this is not possible. This, at least not for me. I'll not be able to do it. What do you guys think? Is it not difficult to remember at the end of life? Not easy. Mm-hmm. We are going there. Don't spoil my script. Yes. So we'll go there. But what do you think? Is it not difficult to remember the Lord at the time of death in this particular situation? If I tell you, okay, close your eyes and imagine yourself. No, not. I will not do that. But imagine you're dying you're losing all your relationships. How much of pain is that? Mental pain and bodily pain. Like, you don't even know from where pain is emanating. All your body parts are paining, and then the soul is. It is said that for a materialist, because they are too attached to their body, the Yamadutas, they have a pash, Yamapash. So they put the pash and they pull the soul out. It's very painful because the soul is not wanting to leave the body. So they have to literally pull the soul out. And it's very painful. So if we are in that situation, then is it possible to remember Narayan? I don't think so. At least not for me. So then again, I heard devotees saying, yes, you want to say something?
Is it possible that if you are thinking of him or thinking of God, that you don't feel the pain and you don't feel the loss?
Yes. So we are coming there. So now I again heard from devotees that when all your life is devoted to serving Krishna, all your life is devoted to chanting the names of Krishna, all your life is devoted to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens is you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about all this. Even if you cannot remember Krishna, Krishna will remember you. So then I was relieved. Okay, I was like, I have to do my part, and this thing is out of my list. Okay, I don't have to remember Krishna. Krishna will remember me. What I have to do is remember Krishna when I can. That is right now. So if we put time, energy, and everything in remembering Krishna right now, when we have the energy, when we have the consciousness, when we are, at least what I see from outside is that we are living a normal life where we don't have so much of trouble. Everyone has troubles, it's a material world, but still reasonably good life we have. Like, we don't, it's not the amount of pain that we can experience at the time of death. So in this situation, if we try to remember Krishna, if we try to serve him, then he will take care of everything. So yes, and it's beautifully described that, is this the goal of just devotees to remember Krishna or to remember Narayan? Sukadeva Goswami is saying no. Everyone, he is saying, to go back to the verse. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam. So, the purpose of Sankhya Yoga, what is Sankhya Yoga? Is metaphysics. I was listening to lecture of Srila Prabhupada. He's like, Sankhya Yoga is metaphysics, where you study one subject matter and you break down to the point of atoms. So you break down and you see, okay, what is it made up of? Okay, if we react this element with this, how will it react? Basically what scientists are doing, they're trying to break down the subject matter and completely understand. People do PhD, like they study 20 years on just one atom or one element, particular element. Can you imagine? So they do that. Now, in this regard, Prabhupada tells a beautiful or funny story. He says, so there was once a wealthy businessman, scientist, very accomplished personality in material world, right? So he visits a village, and what he does, he goes to cross a river. He's crossing the river, the boatman is, rowing his boat, and then he starts talking with this boatman, and he's like, do you know anything about mathematics? And the boatman is like, no, what is mathematics? I don't know mathematics. He's like, 25% of your life is waste. And then after some time, he again goes like, do you know about physics? And the boatman goes like, what is physics? I don't know about physics. He's like, 50% of your life is waste. And then again, after some time, he's like, do you know even about chemistry? He's like, what is chemistry? I don't know chemistry. And then he's like, okay, 75% of your life is a waste. And then he's like, do you know about AI? What is AI? Like, okay, 90% of your life is a waste. Then after some time, a storm comes and the boat is about to tilt. The boatman asks the businessman, do you know how to swim? He's like, no, 100% of your life is a waste. So it's like that, the scientists, philosophers, they're trying to study and they're trying to break down the elements and go so much deep into this. But what is the end result? The goal or purpose of life, they're not understanding. They're not understanding that what is life meant for. What is the end goal? Like Parikshit Maharaj, see how intelligent and see what is his level. He's asking main questions of life. What should be the duty of everyone? And then he asks, what should a person who is going to die in 7 days do? What is the best thing he can do? And then he asks, okay, what one should hear, what one should not hear. You see the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, amazing questions. And then Sukdev Goswami, when he starts this canto, he actually starts by praising those questions. That these questions, he says, these questions will not only benefit you, but this will benefit the entire humanity. These questions are so profound, so good that it can benefit the entire humanity. So here we also see the importance of asking, intelligent questions. Our dear Vaishika Prabhu, who's going to be here in some days, he has also written a full book, the 4 questions, right? Just on this subject matter, the subject matter of questions, like how important questions are. So now we will also try to discuss that why Srimad Bhagavatam, why should we study Srimad Bhagavatam? Now we'll start with, okay, I bluntly said that the scientists and these philosophers, they're just wasting their time. Now this was beautifully described on what subject matter should we study. So yesterday I was listening to a class by S.V. Keshava Swami Maharaj, and he was talking about this. And then when I was researching about something, I also found it the same thing in this book called Basics of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll try to look into that. I hope I find it. So first is, there are different ways of knowing the truth. Truth means tattva or sandarbha, right? So there are different ways to know this. So mainly there are 2 methods. What is that? Deductive knowledge and inductive. In Sanskrit, it is said that Aroha Pantha and Avaroha Pantha. Now, Aroha Pantha is inductive process. Now, what is inductive process? Inductive process is what scientists follow. They go from down to up. So down to up means they try to experiment and see everything by breaking it down and understanding it by their perception, right? In lab they'll do some experiment and basically experimental knowledge, right? And then example can be given. If you want to find who is your father, You will go to a laboratory, you will do DNA test, you will match your DNA with another person's DNA, and if you see it matches, then that is your father. Okay, this is inductive process. Okay, second one is deductive process. Now, deductive process in Shastra, it is described as descending or avaroha pantha. Avaroha pantha, example of this can be given same context. If a man wants to find who is their father, then what he will do, he'll go and ask mother. Okay, so you accept the knowledge that is coming from the authority. Okay, scientists may not agree to this, but they are also following this. How? They are studying the books that are written by the authority in that particular field, and they are accepting it. Right? They are accepting that A for apple, B for ball, this number 1 is like this. They are accepting that, right? It was given to them by someone. So they are also accepting this, but they will not agree to this. But let's see. We can still break it down. And how inductive process is not very accurate. Deductive is. So now, what are the flaws in inductive process? So it is said that in inductive process, it's a flaw because there are 4 defects, right? 4 defects in human beings. What are the 4 defects?
Ability to cheat. Ability to cheat.
Ability to cheat, okay, that is one. What is imperfect senses? No? Attachment, no. So it is said that we all have 4 kind of defects. So first is imperfect senses, being illusioned, ability to cheat, and the last one is tendency to commit mistakes. So because of this 4, whatever knowledge that we can acquire through senses will remain imperfect. And whatever material objects that we create through these senses will also be imperfect because our senses are imperfect. Do we agree to this? Right? Now, and in this also, there are three ways you can, before we jump into this inductive and deductive, in that also there are 3 ways you can understand any subject matter. That is pratyaksha, anuman, and shabda. So pratyaksha means what you see through your senses, pratyaksha, right? Anuman is when you contemplate on something. Anuman, you are thinking of something. For example, you hear a big or a loud noise of something breaking. So then you'll immediately think, oh, maybe the glass vase in the next door has broken. But this is what you are thinking. This is not what you're seeing. So this is second. And third one is shabda. You believing in something that is being said to you by authority. For example, how many of us have been to China? No one? Okay. But we do know there's a place called China. We also know, okay, we have seen or we have heard that what type of houses they have. And we believe that there is a place called China. Why? Because we have heard it from the particular authority that has given us that knowledge. So we believe in that. Like that, we believe many things. Whatever we hear. So that is Shabda. So now, our scriptures, they also fall in this Shabda. So we all believe that, okay, Shabda is a way to go. Shabda is what we should believe in. Now, in Shabda also there are, what should you hear from? Shabda can be material, can be non-material. There can be material subjects, then there can be non-material subjects. Now, material subjects, we were saying that, okay, yes, scientists, they break down atoms. And now I would also like to think about this, like what is a material subjects focus on? What are they trying to achieve? Okay, you see all the scientific research, all of what they are doing. What is their goal? What they are doing, a lot of inventions, they're bringing in different products. What are they trying to do?
Sense of control.
Sense of control. I would also say they are trying to increase the comfort level, or they are trying to make things easy, for the body. That is their goal. And from this, we can also conclude that they are not thinking of beyond this body. They want to stay comfortable in this body while they have this body. And all their plans revolve around this. They want to. So, based on our understanding, we know that there's something more than body. So we can reject material and go to spiritual part. Now, what spiritual subject matter is talking about the actual self, that is soul, and it's talking about beyond body. It's talking about ultimate goal. What should be our purpose? What should be our ultimate goal? What should we aim for? Right? So then we can accept spiritual. Now in spiritual also there are Vedas, right? There are Upanishads, there are Puranas, there are Itihasas. Now what should we accept? There's Vedanta. If you ask an impersonalist, they will say definitely Vedanta. Why? Because Vedanta is end of Vedas. End of Vedas means that is the essence. So you should accept that. Right? Any points on that? Why we should not accept Vedanta?
Because
Possible just that animals we kill the sometimes we in Vedanta according to what I know, kill the animals so that they can gain another life, or
Yes.
the better life.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have accepted the whatever we deal and to come this cut of animals sometimes.
Yes, that is there in Vedas. That is there in Vedanta. Not necessarily deals with sacrifice of animals, but why we should go beyond this?
because we have Bhagavatam.
Very good, but how will you? Very nice. Because we have Bhagavatam. Very nice answer. But how will you explain this to someone who doesn't know this? How will you explain this to Mayavadi? Actually, Mahaprabhu had debate about this. Mahaprabhu and Prakashananda Saraswati, I think. Prabodhananda Saraswati. He was the Mayavadi sannyasi. No. Prakashananda Saraswati. Prakashananda Saraswati. So they had a debate. Prakashananda was saying that we should accept Vedanta. Mahaprabhu was saying we should accept Bhagavatam as authority. So they were having this debate. And now Vedanta is difficult to understand. For that, our author has given us Itihasas. Right? Now, Itihasas or Puranas. Now, Puranas are also divided into 3 modes. Can be in mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So which one should we accept? It is said the highest is in mode of goodness. In mode of goodness is also there are I think 3 or 4. So now which one? So then it is said that you should see a few things. If it's detailed, if it's accessible, if it's intimate, and if it has beauty. So if you measure all this, you'll find that Srimad Bhagavatam is the only one that qualifies. And Why it also qualifies? Because the author himself has said, you know, when he wrote all this, he gave all the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas. At the end, still he was despondent. And when his spiritual master asked him to write Srimad Bhagavatam, then he was satisfied. So, from that, the author himself is giving us that what is the best book that he has given to us. So, from this, we can also understand that Srimad Bhagavatam is the best, Amala Puran. And here, Sukdev Goswami, the one who is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he is also saying that I myself was liberated, basically, above these modes. He was a liberated soul from the womb of his mother. But still he was attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam. So if Srimad Bhagavatam can attract a liberated soul like Sukdev Goswami, then definitely it is for us also. So that's why we should accept Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think yes, and Bhagavad Gita is also called the fifth Veda. Gita Upanishad is also called the fifth Veda, and it is said that it's beautiful. I just want to read it. I don't want to speculate. So it is said that Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishad, is just like a cow, and Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars, pure devotees, are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So this is how it is described in Gita Mahatmya about Bhagavad Gita. And then our acharyas like Jiva Goswami, they have written glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. You should read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarthak Prabhu was one day reciting, there's verse, Madhika Bandhu Madhika Nath. Do you know that verse? It's very beautiful. Where Shri Jiva Goswami is saying that he's describing Srimad Bhagavatam as a person. Srimad Bhagavatam, oh Srimad Bhagavatam, my friend, Madhika Nath, Srimad Bhagavatam, my master. And then he goes on to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's saying, without you I'm nothing. So please don't leave me. He's also saying like that. So you can see how attached our acharyas were to Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Mahaprabhu, when he was in Puri, every day he used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know which pastimes he used to hear? Yes, he used to hear about Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad. So our acharyas have taught us by example on why, or what we should hear. And in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, they are saying that. And I was listening, that I was actually reading, and Srila Prabhupada says that everyone, they want two things in this world. Everyone wants to be happy, and they want to become fearless. And it is recommended that to achieve this, that the perfect process is to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And who says this? This is said by Sukdev Goswami himself. So if we want to achieve these two things, that is happiness and fearlessness, we should recite Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll get everything. I was also reading it somewhere, I don't remember, maybe in my personal reading, I was reading that, we have to come to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. And how that will happen? By chanting Shuddha Naam, right? By chanting it will happen. But now, we don't have taste for chanting. How will we develop taste for chanting? By chanting, and also by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is said that by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will be able to develop taste for chanting. So with that, I would like to end. It's a humble request, everyone who's not reading Srimad Bhagavatam, or if you're reading any other books, that's okay, you can continue. But if you've not started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, please start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, because you start with Bhagavad Gita, you read small books and you read Bhagavad Gita, and then you come to Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srimad Bhagavatam is very beautiful. And once you start reading it, you'll get attached to it. It will be addictive. You will not be able to go by one day without reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Because this is Krishna himself. Krishna has come himself. There's a verse, Krishna Swadham Upagate Dharma Jnana Divisaha. And then Srimad Bhagavatam, he comes as Srimad Bhagavatam to establish Dharma and Jnana. So Krishna himself has incarnated as Srimad Bhagavatam, and we should take advantage. And Srila Prabhupada, he has made it available for everyone. It's so easy to access a Srimad Bhagavatam. It's just there in the shelf. You can just put your hand and get Srimad Bhagavatam. You know how difficult it was to get Srimad Bhagavatam in previous ages? I forgot the name of this devotee. Like how much he struggled to just make one copy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narottam Das Thakur, I think it's Narottam Das Thakur. No, it's not Sarvabhauma. It's Narottam Das Thakur, I think. Yes, right? He went to places, and then he went to someone who had Srimad Bhagavatam, but it was all drenched because they were crying reading Bhagavatam and all the words were erased. So he was not able to get it there. And then he went, and finally he was able to make a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that was instructed to him by someone who was supposed to teach him Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, I'm forgetting the names. And he will say, if you can bring me a copy, then I can teach you. Right? So he went to places, he was not... At the end, when he came with copy, that person left their body. And it was so difficult for them to make one copy. And now we are so fortunate that very easily we have Srimad Bhagavatam available because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. And Srila Prabhupada, he has himself said that this purport, this Bhaktivedanta purport, these are my ecstasies, these are my personal ecstasies. So Srila Prabhupada has put everything in Srimad Bhagavatam. His time, his energy, his love, even his ecstasies. And Srila Prabhupada used to read his own Srimad Bhagavatam. Why would an author read his own books? Because he says, this was not written by me, this was directly instructed by Krishna. So Krishna was instructing him what to write. So we are very, very fortunate. We should all, every day without fail, at least, if not more, 15 minutes, we should sit and read Srimad Bhagavatam. That should be our sankalpa. And by doing that, we can achieve all perfection, we can achieve everything. Okay? So with that, I'd like to end. If there are any questions, comments, reflection. Okay, we can... Sure, yes, go ahead. I was like, we can end the recording.